Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving into something that's, well, it's way more than just getting a new stamp in your passport or changing your address for a bit. In this super connected world we live in, choosing to study abroad, it isn't just another option anymore. It feels like a genuinely transformative opportunity.
It really, really is. We're talking about a journey that it doesn't just shift your perspective or help you build skills, though it does that too.
Right.
It genuinely unlocks a whole new realm of possibilities, both personally and, for your career down the line.
And what's fascinating is this idea, it feels so current, so now.
Yeah, vibrant.
But it actually has pretty deep historical roots, doesn't it?
It does. This isn't something that just popped up. International education, it's evolved steadily. You had those early exchange programs like the Rhodes Scholarship back in the early 20th century.
A long history.
And that's grown into this incredibly diverse, massive landscape we see today. The desire to learn beyond your home borders, it's just gotten stronger and stronger.
And the numbers really show that, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. The scale is it's remarkable.
Get this. Just in 2022, UNESCO stats showed over 6 million students were studying tertiary education outside their home countries.
6 million. That's huge. Like a whole nation of students taking that leap.
Exactly. And it's not just staying flat.
No, it keeps climbing year after year. Globalization, easier access to information, it all fuels it.
It makes the world feel smaller in a way, but also richer in terms of educational choices.
Precisely. Smaller yet richer. A bit of a paradox, but true.
Okay, so for this deep dive, our mission is pretty clear. We want to cut through all the information, all the noise out there about studying abroad. We want to pull out the really crucial stuff about the benefits, but also the challenges, give you a really clear picture of what to expect, especially maybe if you're looking to really sharpen your English skills.
Exactly. We'll look at the benefits from all angles, the academic side, the cultural immersion, that big personal growth piece. But just as vital, we need to look honestly at the real hurdles, like the financial side, which can be tricky, and culture shock. People sometimes underestimate that one.
Definitely.
So the aim here is to equip you, the listener, with insights, some practical advice, maybe some compelling stories, so you can make a really informed decision, because it is a life-changing thing.
Whether you're dreaming of Oxford or Tokyo, or maybe Sydney.
Wherever it might be. We want to shine a light on the rewards, yes, but also the realities.
Okay, so with that amazing growth, what's actually driving this? What's the pull for all these students?
It's really varied, Everyone has their own reasons, their own aspirations.
For some, I guess it's just purely about the academics, right? Getting the best education possible.
That's definitely a big one. They're actively looking for those world-class institutions, Stanford for innovation, the Sorbonne in Paris for that deep intellectual tradition.
University of Melbourne, maybe?
Yeah, for dynamic research. They're drawn by the idea of cutting-edge research, getting access to top professors, being in a really challenging academic environment that pushes them.
But it can't all be hitting the books, surely.
Oh, absolutely not. For loads of others, it's just the sheer thrill of it, the adventure of living somewhere totally new.
Right. Exploring a new culture, new food.
Exactly. Trying different foods, seeing amazing landscapes you've only seen online or in books. It's that innate sense of discovery,
Right.
Just embracing the unknown.
That sense of wonder.
Yeah. And it's interesting how these personal dreams line up with these bigger global trends we're seeing.
You mentioned the numbers earlier. Explosive growth.
It really has been. The number of international students, it's more than doubled in just the last 20 years or so.
Wow. That's huge. So where are people flocking to? Is it still the same old places?
Well, yes and no. The traditional big players, the US, UK, Australia, Canada, they're still very popular, definitely. But we are seeing some interesting shifts. Places like Germany and China, too, they're really starting to attract large numbers of students.
Okay, why Germany or China? What's the specific appeal there?
Well, they offer different things. Germany, for example, has this massive draw with its tuition-free public universities.
Free tuition. That's
a
game changer for many, I imagine.
Absolutely. High-quality education without that huge financial weight you see elsewhere. It's a major factor.
Are there hidden catches, though? Like, are the programs mostly in German, or is it hard to, integrate?
Good question. A lot of programs are in German, yes, but there's a growing number taught in English, especially for masters and PhDs. Integration Yeah, it probably takes more effort from the student than in, say, the UK, but that zero tuition cost, it's a powerful pull.
Which I
China's made these huge strategic investments in like cutting-edge STEM programs, science, tech, engineering, math. So if you're tech-focused, looking for that really specialized, globally competitive education, China's becoming a major destination.
Okay, so it's not just about the name brand anymore. It's diversifying. People are looking for specific things.
That's a really key point. It shows how global education is changing. You have more options now to find a really specific academic fit. Many students are hunting for those highly specialized programs that just aren't offered or aren't as strong back home.
Like what kind of niche things?
Well, imagine you're passionate about, say, tropical marine biology, where better than Australia, you've got the Great Barrier Reef right there, unique ecosystems. It's almost essential.
Can't beat that classroom.
Exactly. Or maybe you're into the absolute cutting edge of artificial intelligence. Singapore has really positioned itself as a global hub for AI research. Fantastic industry links. It's about finding that specific expertise.
And beyond the specific subjects, there's also just that human desire, isn't there? To learn a new language, to get those cross-cultural skills that are so valuable now.
Definitely. Or sometimes it's simpler, just wanting to experience daily life somewhere else, to really get what it means to live, work, connect in a different cultural setting. It's a holistic thing, expanding your horizons personally and intellectually.
And connecting back to the bigger idea, choosing to study abroad, it's often about seeking out that potential for real transformation, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's about deliberately stepping outside your comfort zone, because that's where the real personal growth tends to happen.
The uncomfortable being uncomfortable, yeah.
Pretty much. The whole experience challenges your assumptions, things you might not even realize you assumed. About society, success, even how a classroom should work. It just cultivates a broader, more nuanced view of the world.
Can you give an example? What does that actually look like for a student on the ground?
Sure. Think about maybe a student from Brazil studying in France. Suddenly, they're immersed in centuries of European art history, seeing masterpieces firsthand. It's a total revelation, changes how they see things. Or maybe a Canadian student in Japan, seeing how super advanced technology mixes with really deep-rooted traditions. It gives you these profound insights. They're not just academic points. They're personal discoveries that reshape how you see the world.
You know, it's interesting how social media plays into this now. It adds another layer, doesn't it?
Oh, completely. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, they've just amplified the visibility of studying abroad like never before.
You see the pictures, the videos.
Exactly. Shared stories, amazing photos, those relatable little videos from people your age all over the world. It creates this really powerful pull. You see someone hiking Machu Picchu or at Oktoberfest or just chatting easily in Spanish.
And you think, I want that.
Yeah, it sparks curiosity, that desire for the same kind of growth, the same adventure. It's very visual, very immediate, very personal inspiration.
Okay, let's shift gears then and really dig into the benefits. Why is taking this leap so worthwhile for so many?
Right. Well, first off, you've got the clear academic gains. Studying abroad gives you access to some truly world-class universities and programs, really top-tier global education.
The famous names everyone knows.
Often, yeah. Places like Harvard, Oxford, ETH, Zurich in Switzerland. These aren't just names. They're genuine hubs of innovation, critical thinking, groundbreaking research. They offer super specialized courses you might not find anywhere else, research opportunities that can really set you up for your career, professors who are leaders in their fields.
Can you give a concrete example of what that access really means?
Sure. Think about that marine biology student again, choosing Australia to be near the Great Barrier Reef. That's direct, hands-on experience with a unique ecosystem. It's like a living lab.
Yep.
Or an engineering student going to TU Munich in Germany, known globally for its technical focus and applying theory directly to practice. These places offer top facilities, amazing libraries, just a really dynamic intellectual environment.
What often surprises students, I think, is getting exposed to totally different ways of teaching. It can be a real contrast to back home.
That's a huge point. It genuinely makes your academic toolkit much broader, much more flexible.
How so? How does it change how you actually learn things?
Well, take the UK. Seminar-based learning is really common there. Lots of discussion, debate. You have to articulate your ideas clearly. It's not passive.
Right. Very different from just lectures.
Very. Or in Scandinavia, they often emphasize project-based learning, working in teams, solving problems together. Great for collaboration skills, which you need everywhere. In Germany, you often find the strong link between theory and practical hands-on training, making sure what you learn is directly applicable.
So if you're used to just lectures, it's a whole new ballgame.
Totally. Imagine, say, a student from India who's mostly experienced lectures. They might find these interactive European classes really stimulating. It forces them to adapt, develop new learning strategies, builds versatility.
Beyond the different styles, there's also just the academic challenge itself, right? That rigor must build discipline.
Absolutely. It's not just what you learn, but learning how to learn under that kind of pressure in a new system. It really builds discipline, sharpens your time management skills. Just figuring out a new academic system, often in a second language, that takes serious organization, planning.
Like different types of exams.
Yeah.
Or mastering new academic words.
Exactly. Preparing for oral exams, which are common in parts of Europe, needs different skills than written tests. Confidence, quick thinking. Or having to master academic French for essays in France. That's tough, but builds resilience.
And for English learners?
Oh, for advanced English learning, it's like a boot camp. You're pushed constantly, reading complex texts, writing nuanced papers, debating ideas in seminars. You have to use sophisticated vocabulary, complex structures. It's intense, practical application that takes your English to a whole new level.
So these aren't just academic hurdles, they become life skills.
No doubt. They translate directly to success in grad school or demanding jobs. You gain this deeper appreciation for global standards and for what you're capable of. Now, shifting to personal growth. Studying abroad is just this incredible journey of self-discovery and independence.
You're often properly on your own for the first time, maybe?
Precisely. Living independently in a foreign country, it just fosters this deep sense of self-reliance. You're managing daily stuff, budgeting, cooking, navigating things maybe others handled before.
Right.
Take learning Tokyo's massive subway system. Seems small, but mastering that, it hugely boosts your self-reliance, problem-solving, spatial awareness, builds real practical confidence.
And it must build incredible resilience, too. Things will go wrong.
Oh, they will. You'll face challenges. Language barriers at first, maybe visa delays, lost luggage. But these aren't just annoyances. They're opportunities for real growth. Think of a student in Spain, maybe struggling with spoken Spanish initially. But through persistence, daily practice, willingness to make mistakes, they get confident, fluent. Overcoming stuff like that builds serious emotional strength, prepares you for future bumps in the road.
And being immersed in a new culture, that must change how you see yourself, too. Makes you more self-aware.
It really does. Massively enhances self-awareness.
Yeah.
When you're constantly seeing different ways of life, different values, it makes you reflect on your own values, beliefs, cultural assumptions.
It makes you question things you just took for granted.
Exactly. It can be startling, but powerful, embracing new perspectives. Like a U.S. student in India, they start appreciating their own background more, but also gain new perspectives on community, family, maybe by experiencing a traditional wedding.
Oh. Okay.
It helps you understand your own identity better, seeing it reflected against something different.
And navigating all that ambiguity must make you incredibly adaptable, open-minded.
Totally invaluable skills. Learning to read subtle cues, understanding different expectations, adjusting to a different pace of life, maybe moving from a huge city to a small town in Europe. You learn to be flexible, thrive in those gray areas.
And interacting with so many different people must really boost your emotional intelligence.
It does. Engaging constantly with diverse peers builds that EQ, builds cross-cultural communication skills. You learn to navigate nuances, develop real empathy for different viewpoints.
Could you give an example of that in action?
Imagine a student volunteering on a community project in South Africa. Through that direct experience, they learn patience, understand social complexities firsthand. These are fundamental qualities for working effectively anywhere in the world today.
And the cultural enrichment itself, that's a massive part of it all.
It's often the defining part, where the best memories come from. It's true immersion. You're not just watching, you're doing.
Like joining festivals, learning local skills.
Absolutely. Picture a student in Italy getting swept up in carnival, the energy, the tradition, or learning to cook proper pasta from a local grandmother. These experiences, they deepen your understanding of heritage, create amazing memories, build that appreciation for global diversity.
And language learning plays a big role here.
Huge. It's an incredibly powerful gateway to deeper cultural understanding. Even basic phrases help so much. And for advanced English learners, say in Australia, it's not just about grammar, it's about understanding slang like fair dinkum. That adds cultural depth you don't get in class. It helps you connect with locals on a much more real level.
And through all this immersion, that global awareness, that empathy, it just grows, right? You see things differently.
In remarkable ways. A student in South Africa gains insights into economic inequality. A student in China at Lunar New Year understands family traditions differently. It fosters a more compassionate, connected worldview, which leads naturally to the connections you make.
Ah, yes, the lifelong friends.
Exactly, forming these deep connections with locals, with other international students from everywhere. Shared experiences really bond people.
Definitely.
Celebrating Oktoberfest together, hiking Machu Picchu, a tea ceremony in Japan, Diwali in India. These become cherished memories. They broaden your perspective, build empathy. And that network, it's global, lasts a lifetime, offers support opportunities.
Okay, moving beyond the huge personal and cultural stuff, let's talk tangible career advantages. Studying abroad really boosts your employability, doesn't it?
Oh, significantly. In today's global job market, it's becoming a real differentiator. It's not just nice to have.
You have data on that.
Yeah, there was a study, Institute of International Education 2018, found nearly 2/3, 64% of employers value study abroad experience when hiring.
Wow, okay.
It signals unique skills, a global mindset companies really want.
The he skill must be that cross-cultural communication you mentioned.
Absolutely. Honed daily by navigating different environments. Think about a business student in China, learning to negotiate effectively, sensitively with international partners. That's gold in any global role. You learn it by doing it.
And the networking opportunities must be huge.
Happens almost naturally. Connecting with professors, diverse classmates, professionals through internships or university events.
Like landing a great internship.
Precisely. A student in London gets an internship at a big global firm, say Deloitte or HSBC. Instant contacts. These networks span continents, offer long-term career support, job leads.
And just the fact that you coped with a foreign system, that must impress employers. Shows adaptability, problem solving.
Big time. It shows you can innovate, persevere, like a student in Brazil overcoming language barriers to succeed academically. That shouts initiative, resilience. Or sorting out a complex schedule issue in a German university. Shows organization, creative problem solving. These are concrete, transferable skills.
And finally, there are those really specific career opportunities.
Right. Directly aligned with competitive fields. Imagine a fashion student in Paris interning at Chanel, or a tech student in Singapore working with an AI startup.
Wow.
You get unparalleled practical insights, hands-on skills, builds a strong foundation, a great portfolio, gives you a real head start.
Okay, the benefits are massive, clearly. But let's be real. It's not all smooth sailing. We have to talk about the challenges.
Absolutely essential.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the hurdles is key to preparing for them. And the first big one, often, is money. The financial pressure.
Yeah, it can be seriously expensive. Sticker shock is real.
It can be. Top U.S. universities, tuition can top $50,000 a year. UK, Australia, maybe $20K, $40K. Still a huge amount. And that's before living costs. Big cities, London, Tokyo, New York, are notoriously pricey. Rent alone can be, what, 800, 1,200 pounds a month in London? Easily.
And currency swings can wreck a budget overnight.
They really can, especially if your home currency isn't strong. Plus, you've got the hidden costs. Visa fees, maybe $100, $500.
Yeah.
Mandatory health insurance Canada, maybe $600 or $1,000 a year. Flights home, $1,000 plus each time. You need a buffer, a contingency fund.
So how do you even begin to manage that? It sounds quite daunting.
It is, but it's doable with good planning. Scholarships are key, Erasmus Plus, Fulbright, but you need to apply super early. They're competitive.
Right.
Part-time work can help, but you must know your visa rules. Australia often limits you to 20 hours a week during term. Can't just work endlessly.
Choosing cheaper places helps too, like Germany.
Dramatically. Free tuition makes a massive difference. Also, opting for shared housing, student dorms saves a lot on rent. The absolute key is proactive, detailed budgeting way in advance. Explore every funding option.
Okay, finances aside, let's talk cultural and social adjustments. Culture shock, it's a real thing.
Oh, very real. Navigating unfamiliar social norms, food, communication styles, it can be overwhelming.
Like what?
Imagine being in Japan, trying to get used to indirect communication, all the etiquette. It can be disorienting. And homesickness often kicks in, especially around holidays. It's natural. Plus, building genuine connections takes time and effort. It can feel isolating at first, especially if the local culture is quite different or seems closed off.
So what can you do proactively to make that easier?
Get involved. Join student clubs. Go to cultural events. Find a mentor if possible. International student groups are a fantastic instant support network, people going through the same thing.
And preparation helps.
Hugely. Researching customs etiquette, learning basic phrases before you go reduces that initial shock. Staying in regular touch with home video calls provides that vital emotional anchor. It takes time, but people adapt, make friends, gain confidence.
Academic adjustment can also be tougher than people expect, right? Even for smart students.
Definitely. You're adapting to a whole new system, different grading, teaching styles, maybe unexpected language issues.
Even if you think your language skills are good.
Yeah. Think of a U.S. student in Germany, maybe struggling with seminar-style classes if they're used to lectures. It's a different way of learning. And even in English-speaking countries, those subtle language barriers.
Like accents or jargon.
Exactly. Thick accents, Scottish, Australian, can be hard to follow at first. Specialized academic jargon in lectures or readings, that can be a barrier to fully participating, feeling confident. It demands really focused listening, active vocabulary building.
So specific preparation is key there, too.
It's crucial. Language courses focused on academic skills, researching teaching styles beforehand, using university support, academic advisors, tutors, it all helps you hit the ground running. These challenges, they're tough, but they build resilience, problem solving.
You definitely up your game.
Okay.
Last hurdle area, logistics and legal stuff.
Bureaucracy.
Oh, yes. Can be overwhelming if you're not prepared. Visa applications alone, complex, tons of documents, strict deadlines. Patience is required.
Like the UK visa needing proof of funds, taking months. Exactly. You can't leave it late. Then finding housing, especially in popular cities like Sydney, super competitive, stressful, needs early planning.
And healthcare systems abroad, totally different.
Wildly different. Practices, payments, insurance. A student in the U.S. might need private insurance costing, say, $1,500 a year. Figuring out coverage adds stress, which brings us to legal compliance.
You have to follow the rules.
Absolutely critical. Stick rigidly to visa rules about work hours, study load, travel. Breaking them, even accidentally, can have severe consequences. Fines, visa canceled, deportation. You must know the rules.
So practical solutions for all this.
Research beforehand. Use all the university support services, visa help, housing offices, integration programs. Talk to current students or alumni in valuable first-hand tips. Plan housing early. Understand your healthcare options before you leave. Preparation is everything.
Absolutely. Okay, let's pivot to practical strategies for success then. How can you really prepare to make the most of this?
Preparation is, without doubt, the key. It sets you up to handle the challenges and really maximize the benefits. Academically, culturally, emotionally. First, pre-departure planning. Research programs and destinations meticulously.
Make sure it fits your goals.
Exactly. Align it with your academic interests, your career plans. Like a Costa Rica for a biology student, maybe. It optimizes the whole experience. And budgeting, scholarships apply super early. Deadlines for things like DAAD in Germany are way in advance. Competition's fierce.
Get that financial side sorted.
Yes. And visas understand the exact requirements and timelines for your specific situation. Like a Canadian needing health checks for Australia. Create a detailed timeline for everything. Admissions, visa, housing. Stay organized.
Okay, what about cultural prep? How do you build confidence for that?
Invest time learning about the country, customs, history, basic language. Even simple Mandarin greetings for China show respect, ease interactions.
And for English learners specifically.
Actively get used to regional accents, common idioms, academic jargon beforehand. Watch movies, listen to podcasts from that region. It boosts comprehension and confidence hugely. Use cultural workshops, apps like Duolingo. Understand basic etiquette, bowing in Japan, for instance. Prevents awkwardness.
Academic prep is vital too. Credit transfers.
Crucial. Ensure courses align with your home degree. Check syllabi, talk to advisors at both universities, understand the teaching style, maybe essay focus in the UK. Language tests like IELTS or TOEFL aren't just hoops. They show you're ready for academic English. And build those core study skills, note-taking, critical reading, time management. Join study groups. Use tutoring if needed. Don't be shy about seeking help.
And finally, emotional resilience. Feels incredibly important, maybe overlooked sometimes.
Critically important, often underestimated. You need to consciously build mental toughness, acknowledge homesickness, isolation, adjustment struggles will likely happen. It's normal.
So build a support system.
Actively create one. Regular video calls home. Connect with international student groups. Places like Australia have specific mental health support for international students. Use those resources.
And look after yourself.
Practice self-care. Mindfulness, exercise, journaling helps process things. Set realistic expectations. Adaptation takes time. And use university counseling if you need it. They're there to help you thrive.
Okay, let's make this really concrete now with some real-life stories, case studies to show how this all plays out.
Great idea. Let's start with Maria in Japan. She was a determined biology student from Brazil, chose Kyoto University for its research, but initially, big struggles. Language barriers felt constant. Adapting to Japan's more reserved culture was hard.
But she stuck with it. How did she cope?
Amazing initiative. She joined a university language exchange club that was key, helped her learn conversational Japanese fast, but also, crucially, make friends, build a support network, changed everything.
An academic.
She dove into hands-on research on local aquatic ecosystems, her passion, gained incredible practical skills, which really set her up for a competitive environmental science grad program later.
And money. Japan's not cheap.
True. She managed meticulously, won a scholarship, tutored English part-time, made it work. Overall, her journey built amazing resilience, problem-solving skills, deep cultural adaptability, shaped her whole career path.
Fantastic story. What about the second one, Ahmed in Germany?
Ahmed, yeah. Ambitious engineering student from Egypt, went to TU Munich for its top reputation. His main challenge initially was the academic intensity. Really rigorous, different grading, different teaching.
How do you handle that pressure?
He was proactive, formed study groups for support, different perspectives, consistently went to professors for help, showed real determination, and culturally, he just jumped in.
Embraced it.
Totally. Went to Oktoberfest, got involved in traditions, built real friendships, connected authentically with the local culture. It wasn't just study, it was living it.
And the career payoff you mentioned earlier, did that work for him?
Big time. Landed a super competitive summer internship at Siemens, the engineering giant. That experience was invaluable, led directly to a job offer right after graduation.
Wow.
His story is a perfect example of how good preparation, academic and cultural, plus an open mind, can just launch you into this amazing global future.
Definitely shows the potential. Commitment, adaptability really pays off.
So, yeah, circling back to the main message, studying abroad, it's undeniably profound, potentially life-altering. But it does demand careful planning, real personal effort, and keeping an open, adaptable mindset.
But for those who do take that leap, the rewards, the academic boost, the personal growth, the career edge, they almost always outweigh those initial hurdles, don't they? It's really an investment, not just in education, but in yourself, your whole future.
Exactly. And as you, our listeners, think about this, maybe for yourselves, here's one last thought to ponder. Beyond the grades and the resume points we've talked about, think about how stepping into a completely different culture might fundamentally change how you see the world.
That's a deep one. How it might challenge assumptions you didn't even know you had about society, people, how things work. What unique perspectives could you gain? And how could that understanding empower you to contribute differently in our complex, interconnected world?
It's a journey, isn't it? Not just to a new place, but maybe to a whole new way of seeing, a whole new way of being.